Hi, I'm Bill Arnold. Thank you for listening to this podcast. There are many more podcasts available at myfaithradio.com. Your support makes this possible. Thank you. If I could just have your attention for a second, I don't want to overstate this, but we are going to start right now.
Oh, don't you know, it's the Bill Arnold Show. It's Bill.
And a warm welcome to the Bill Arnold Show. I'm so glad that we're going to have some time together. I hope you've had a great day so far. I've got a very interesting in-studio guest. I have Dr. Doug Huffman with me. He's the Dean in the School of Theology and Ministry and Special Advisor to the President of the University of Northwestern. He is the real deal. How's that for an introduction?
Wow, could you say all that again? I didn't have a recording. Yeah, very nice.
It's true, though. You're an amazing mind.
Wow.
You got a lot of stuff going on.
You are a comedian.
Well, I get that. But you've got what's going on here at the university. You do consulting work with The Chosen. You got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, my older sister once described me as Doug busy? Oh, he's been that way since he was 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so we're talking today about a bucket list. That's about as much heads up as you gave me.
Yeah. Yeah. Your listeners here might remember a movie that came out in 2007 called The Bucket List. Warner Brothers, it was Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. 2 terminally ill gentlemen who wanted to go on a road trip and accomplish some things that they wanted to do before they passed away.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we usually call that, I'm not even sure about the history of why that got labeled a bucket list. The list of things I want to add to my bucket of experience before I pass away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've thought a lot about bucket lists and bucket theories of life, and I've come up with the Converse bucket
I like
theory.
This. I like it. Now, Doug, just for the sake of conversation, just having a bucket list of any kind doesn't have to be ominous like it, before I die. It can just be, I want to map out things I want to do in my life.
Yeah. What turns it into a bucket list is following this movie with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman's characters, reaching this point in your life where you realize, I need to do that sooner rather than later.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Our buckets get heavier towards the end of our lives, and what else is going to fit in there?
What's that annoying sound I hear? Oh wait, it's a clicking clock.
Yes. So I'm 65, and so I've been thinking about this. Like, wow, if I really do want to go visit New Zealand. Maybe I need to put that on my itinerary. If I really want to write that particular book, maybe I should start on it sooner.
Yeah.
I think that's why bucket lists become a greater conversation for people my age. But you're right. Anybody can have this bucket list, the things they want to do or collect
Sure.
or accomplish, while they're here.
Good. So you've got the Converse you're going to lay on us today?
Yeah. So my thoughts come a little bit from Jesus' teaching on stewardship. So perhaps you remember these stories: Luke chapter 19, Matthew chapter 25. Jesus talks about a person who's going on a journey, and he leaves his estate in the hands of some servants. He gives one servant 5 talents, and another servant 2, and another servant just 1, and differing amounts of things. And then when he returns from his journey, he calls them to account. My Converse bucket theory of life wonders about those 3 different servants and their different buckets. One had only one thing, one had two things, another had five things. And Jesus told various stories like this. They're a little different between the different Gospels. My Converse bucket theory of life is not about collecting things. It's about getting rid of things. So that's why I call it the Converse bucket theory.
You have my attention. I love this idea.
So the bucket metaphor, it gets utilized a lot, not just in bucket lists, but I mean, accountants talk about having different buckets with different amount of money for different things, and having a bucket metaphor is common enough elsewhere. But my idea, the Converse bucket theory, is not that you start life with an empty bucket. The bucket list, normal bucket list theory presumes that everybody starts with an empty bucket, and what do you want to collect before you die? And if you die with a full bucket, you're a winner. Yay, you've got everything on your list, and you filled up your bucket, and yay for you, and we celebrate your life. And I'm not against that. I have goals and things that I want to accomplish on this side of eternity, and that's a good thing. But I think the Converse bucket theory will help us engage with what Jesus teaches in the Gospels. The Converse bucket theory, I say, you're not born with an empty bucket. You're born with a full bucket, especially if you're born again.
Yeah.
You've been given things that the Lord
Wow.
wants you to be responsible to be a good steward of those things. And your goal in life should be to carry your bucket from station to station, taking things out of your bucket and applying it with generosity and wisdom to that station in life. And when you're done dispensing things at this station from your bucket, well, maybe it's time to carry your bucket to the next station in life. So for my wife and I, this has been something of a decision-making metaphor for us. Have we accomplished everything in this role, in this place? Are there other things that we're responsible for that maybe we could be better stewards of if we moved to a new location, a new station, a new job, a new something? Because we're trying to be good stewards and take things out of our bucket and be generous with them.
I like this.
Yeah?
Almost as if being born again, you get this full bucket, and then you start pouring out of your bucket.
Yeah, exactly.
And you start to say, Lord, where should I pour next? And maybe you reach a point where the bucket's empty, and that coincides with the time the Lord takes you home.
Yeah. Notice that this Converse bucket theory, it fits well with what the Apostle Paul has to say when he says, I've poured myself out. In his last letter, 2 Timothy, right?
That's what I was thinking when you brought that up, yeah.
He's getting ready to pass away, and I've poured myself out. I've applied what I have been given, and there it is. So, again, I'm not against the usual bucket list, bucket theory of collecting things, but this idea of dispensing them well intrigues me.
Oh, me too. I really like this idea a lot. I feel like I've already gotten my money's worth. I mean, if we want to end the interview right now, I'm cool with that. Well, it's not, but I am.
Yeah, I don't know what we would do for the next 45 minutes.
I don't know either. We could take calls. I don't know what we do. But this is a very interesting concept, Doug.
Well, so I talk for a living. So 45 minutes, is that all I have? I'll try to summarize the rest of my comments here. Yeah, I would suggest that there are some multiple benefits of having this Converse bucket theory. Would you like to hear some of those?
Please. I've got my notebook out.
Okay. I would say there's three assists that the Converse bucket theory, let's give it a better name. Let's call it the faithfulness bucket theory, over against the usual filling bucket theory.
Okay.
The two F's there, isn't that
Yep.
nice? Yeah. The filling bucket theory, again, I'm not totally against that. It's nice to collect things and enjoy God's world and have these experiences, but I think the faithfulness bucket theory benefits me in facing three different kinds of temptation. One, the temptation of envy. I don't know about you, but for me, I notice people around me who, boy, they're way more talented than I am. And, oh, I wish I had their life. But wait, I have to be responsible for what the Lord's given me in my bucket. When I get to heaven, the Lord's not going to say, how come you didn't behave exactly like that person and preach better sermons? And because the Lord didn't give me those gifts. Mm-hmm. He gave me these to be responsible for. And so instead of envying other people, I need to focus on my own bucket of responsibilities and having this understanding of Jesus gives different gifts to different people, just like the people, the landowner in his talents parable gave 5 to one person and 2 to another and 1 to another and expected them to simply be faithful with what they had. Okay, no comparison of myself to others. I'm going to try to be faithful to what I've been given. Maybe similar, the second benefit of this faithfulness bucket theory is it helps me fight temptations of pride. Right? Oh, well, I do have these talents that person doesn't have. And, oh, no, the Lord could have given whatever gifts he wants to anybody, and he happened to give me these things. I don't need to be proud about them. I need to be faithful with them. So I guess those are converse temptations, the temptation to be envious of other people, the temptation to be proud about myself. I fight both of those temptations with this faithfulness bucket theory. Oh, no, the Lord is the Lord, and he's given me these things. I just need to be faithful.
I like that, too.
Okay.
I like the direction. I like this where this is going.
The third thing that I think it helps me, I guess I'm talking about fighting temptations, the temptation of sloth, the temptation to be lazy. Well, because I don't have that, okay, I could be envious, but I'm just not going to do anything. No, I can fight the temptation to be envious, I can fight the temptation of pride, and I can fight the temptation of sloth about doing nothing. I just need to be faithful for these things. I've got friends who've written lots and lots of books, and I've only published this small handful. Well, but maybe that's the only handful the Lord's given me. Mm-hmm. What about that one more that he's given me? Not the 20 more like that friend, but one more. I don't need to be envious of him. I don't need to be proudful about these other ones. I just need to be faithful to these things. So the faithfulness bucket theory helps me fight those temptations.
Really nice. I understand this already a lot better because you've got pride and you've got envy, and these are all very real emotions. And as you start to get in this time of life where you're looking at a friend going, well, that's a pretty nice vacation home they have in Arizona. There's all kinds of stuff that you go, I guess I wouldn't mind living that life. And then you have to ask yourself, is what I'm trying to put in the bucket what God wants me to do, or should I take this full bucket that God has given me and look for places to take what's in the bucket out and serve it for the kingdom?
Yeah, and perhaps we should mix these two bucket theories because we do recognize that the Lord does give us gifts along the way. And to me, those new gifts he's given me, those are things I'm also responsible for.
Can you give me an example on that?
So, I've got a great career and a good income, and I enjoy this home. Am I using my home for just myself, or am I pouring myself out of my home to be generous with it and entertain other people? It's a gift that's been given to me that I should be responsible for. So again, I'm not against the old bucket theory of collecting things, but once you collect it, well, now you're responsible for that. Mm-hmm. Now you need to be a steward of that. And how can you give that away or give a portion of it away or share it or something? Does that make sense?
A ton of sense. I like where we're starting. I'm going to take a little break. Dr. Doug Huffman is my guest. We're talking about the Converse bucket list today. If you've got thoughts or a comment you'd like to make or a question you'd like to ask, the text line is open, 877-933-2484. Wyatt will have us back in 90 seconds.
It's in his contract if Bill needs a minute, he takes a minute, so don't talk back. There'll be litigation if Bill doesn't get it, he just needs a minute, he'll be right back. I play the piano $1,000 on to spin it, he needs a minute, he'll be right back.
It is my deepest desire that you take the very first step of faith by placing your faith and trust in Jesus Christ. If you've got questions about what it means to begin a relationship with Jesus, text the word faith to 41224.
Bill took a minute, and now he's back.
I am back, and I'm back with Dr. Doug Hoffman. He's the Dean of the School of Theology and Ministry right here at the University of Northwestern. We're talking about the bucket list, but the Converse bucket list. I find this fascinating. You've given us little bucket props for Wyatt and I think that's just absolutely a great reminder of what we're supposed to do with what God has given us.
Yeah. I'm not against the original bucket list idea of collecting experiences or things or accomplishments before one passes away. It's good to have goals and be goal-oriented, to do great things in your life and in your career and in your ministry. So I'm not against that. I just find it really helpful to me to have this converse theory that says, rather than merely collecting things, I need to be dispensing things.
Yeah.
I need to be giving things away faithfully. And so rather than bucket filling, I want to be faithful bucketing. Because, I hope this isn't too crass, but when I die, I want to kick an empty bucket.
I love it.
I want my faithfulness to be thorough for my life experience.
Yeah, you can go home now because you've been poured out.
Yeah. And that's how Paul talks about it there in 2 Timothy.
Yeah,
is
so
what you're saying.
to me that just resonates. Yeah.
So having this converse bucket theory helps me fight temptations of envy of other people whose buckets have different things in them. Helps me fight the pride, recognizing that, I didn't just fill up my bucket myself. No, the Lord gave me these things. And it helps me fight the temptation to sloth about just laying about. But no, I need to be actively faithful for what the Lord's given me. Well, there's 3 other benefits, I think, of this converse bucket theory. And maybe those first 3 benefits are all about fighting temptation. These next 3 benefits of this converse bucket faithfulness theory are all encouragements, not assistance in help in fighting temptation, but encouragement. And so, for example, I think having this theory helps me trust in the Lord and relax a little bit.
I like that.
I don't need to fret about how successful somebody else is. I don't need to be comparing myself and my less than successfulness compared to them. I'm not responsible for what they have in their bucket. I'm responsible for what the Lord's giving me in my bucket. Psalm 37, David comments about, don't, let me see here. Be still before the Lord, wait patiently for him, fret not over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. Refrain from anger and forsake wrath, fret not yourself. All of that's just going to tend towards evil. Relax. Look at what the Lord's given you in your bucket. Trust in him. Don't be comparing yourself to people who are carrying different buckets with different responsibilities. That's, I guess I'm confessing to you that I'm a competitive person and I can compare myself to others too easily. And having this converse bucket theory about being faithful to what the Lord's given me, that helps me.
Mm-hmm.
So a second area of encouragement has to do with gratitude, right? Wow, looking in my bucket, I see the Lord has given me some really nice things that I need to just be thankful for. Not proud about, but thankful, recognizing He's the Lord who dispensed these things to me. Studies have indicated that people who practice gratitude experience greater happiness, improved mental and physical health, better sleep, better resilience, more positive outlook, stronger social connections with other people. I think having this bucket faithfulness theory rather than bucket filling theory helps me be a more grateful person.
I'm looking at Ecclesiastes 5:19. Everyone also to whom God has given wealth and possessions and power to enjoy them. So God gives us everything we have and the ability to enjoy them.
Yeah.
I know people who've got a lot of stuff that were miserable because they don't have the power to enjoy them, which comes from the Lord.
Yeah. I think that's the one of the downsides of the old bucket filling theory is people are so busy just filling their bucket that they forget to enjoy these things or be thankful for these things because they're on to collect the next one. And,
they're familiar with what God has given them, and they're using it. So I think they're a little numb to it, right? Yeah.
I think that's the one of the real downsides to that old bucket theory. The loss of the sense of gratitude because they're on to the next collection point. So, well, a third point of encouragement that the bucket faithfulness theory gives me is related to the Ecclesiastes passage is just that it encourages celebration. I suppose gratitude is a kind of celebration, but I'm thinking of the celebration that just overflows with gratitude and encourages further generosity. And, that was so fun. I'd like to be faithful with the next thing in my bucket. There's something wonderfully satisfying about being faithful that results in this celebration that becomes this engine to do it some more. So I think it's even fun then to help other people be faithful for their buckets. Their buckets have different stuff in it, but you know what? This is so fun. Emptying my bucket, how can I help you be faithful for your bucket too? I want to spread the joy and the celebration about. And I've learned in the last couple of decades here that there's great satisfaction in helping other people be successful at doing things that I can't do. But hey, if I can help them be successful, I suppose that's the joy of a coach, right? The joy of a coach in helping his or her athletes be successful, be good stewards of what God has given them with their athletic abilities.
Doug, and I'm with you. I have no problem with the old style bucket version of trying to have as many experiences and things that you want to try to have in life. I mean, I always think though that when you're so desperate to do something as far as an experience goes, I always want to say the result of that experience. What comes as a result of that? So you can tell some beautiful stories to your kids and grandkids. So their lives will be enriched, or are you just trying to click a box saying, I went to Monaco before I died? I don't know.
Yeah. I think the idea of praising the Lord with our experiences might be something worth everybody experimenting with.
Say more about that.
I find watching the Olympics to be an opportunity for worship. So I've never gone to the Olympic Games, either summer or winter, in person, but just watching the televised coverage of them, wow, the Lord has given these athletes these tremendous abilities, and I find myself worshiping the Lord who created them with that ability to do those things. Even the non-Christians who are utilizing their skills maybe don't realize that they're creating worship opportunities for me to praise the Creator. Well, if I did travel to visit the Olympics or other locations and see these marvelous things, the beauty of the Grand Canyon, those can be things that I collect in my bucket, in the first bucket theory, the bucket filling theory.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to New Zealand. I want to see the Grand Canyon. I want to, whatever. But maybe I should be emptying out that experience in this sense of celebration and joy and gratitude to the Lord who created these things, and then turn them, as you just said, into these conversation opportunities.
Yeah.
And then they become these gospel opportunities. But that's why I think this bucket faithfulness theory needs to be held in. If you're going to carry a bucket filling theory, you should carry, on the other hand, this bucket faithfulness theory. And collect those things, those experiences, those relationships, those accomplishments, but then be faithful stewards of those things and pour them back out. Fight off the temptations to envy and pride and sloth, and rather, with grateful hearts, relax and celebrate what the Lord, the gracious giver of all these things, has given you the opportunity to do, and help other people have that same kind of joyous celebration of life.
I really like that perspective. Wyatt, you remember when we had Justin Jepson on, and he was talking about whenever you pray for something, you also want to include the words "so that."
Yeah, that has stuck with me
It's
for a
stuck
long
with me
time.
too. It's about the fourth time I brought it up on the air.
Right.
Oh, say something more about that. So that.
Yeah. Well, please heal Doug's knee. I don't know if you don't have any problems with your knee, but I'll just say
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah, my left knee.
Okay. So please heal Doug's knee so that he can be more effective for kingdom work.
It takes all the attention off yourself.
Yeah.
Any selfish prayer you might be asking, and restructures your prayer so that it's for God's glory still.
Oh, I
him.
love that.
Yeah.
That's
So my thought is,
fantastic.
okay, you've got an experience on your bucket list. Give me the so that.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. We should do that.
Should do what? Ask the so.
Always, yeah.
So that.
Yeah, so that
So
I
that.
can give glory to God. Or
Amen.
So that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Every item on our bucket list in either bucket theory
Yes.
should have that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just for the sake of the conversation, I went to the 92 Winter Olympics in Albertville, France. And just so you know, I stood on the mountain watching luge, where you're freezing, and the next thing you know, some neon blur goes by you at about 90 miles an hour. And if that's spectator sports, I don't know. I felt a little foolish. But you're right. When I was watching Olympic skating, there was a sense of emotional. It was just unbelievably worshipful.
Yeah.
That these gifted athletes are pouring themselves out in this moment. And it was just on TV, you don't really hear the blade scraping against the ice and the tension in the room. But boy, it was really fun.
Wow. Yeah. Now, for me, I don't have any aspirations for being an ice skater. But when I watch Olympic running events, I was a runner here at Northwestern when I was a student here on the track team and the cross country team. And so when I watch running events, I can be tempted to envy.
I bet.
I've had both of my knees replaced, and my surgeon says, "Yeah, you can't run anymore." So that's off the table for me. And even now, I'm having a little bit of trouble with my left knee, replaced as it is. So I'm happy to be walking, but having this bucket faithfulness theory helps me fight off the temptations of envy when I watch these Olympic champions who obviously have different things in their bucket than I got in
That's
mine.
so true.
And I can fight off that envy, and I can find myself worshiping the Lord and celebrating their accomplishments.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the victories I had back in the day.
Sure.
Yeah. So I've told people that at one time at Northwestern, I had 6 different running records.
Did you really?
Yeah, but Northwestern was only 10 years old in having the track team
Doesn't
function.
matter.
So
Doesn't matter. You had risen to the top.
yeah, but all of those records are gone now because we've had a longer track team history, and and because of my age, right? Some of the events they don't run anymore, like
Sure.
the 600-yard run and the 1,000-yard run, and now most meets are in meters, right? So.
Yeah.
But rather than bemoaning the loss of things, no, I can celebrate with this bucket faithfulness theory. I've collected a few things, and you know what? I'm going to give those away too. And I really would encourage people to consider this Converse bucket theory.
I like it. We'll be right back with Dr. Doug Huffman. If you have a comment you'd like to make to the conversation or ask a question, 877-933-2484. That's text. A text line, 877-933-2484. We'll be right back. I'm back with Dr. Doug Huffman. Wyatt, how would you describe the topic today?
Something that keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time, keeps you engaged, keeps you interested, and leaving you wanting more.
All right, we're talking about a bucket list, but Doug's talking about a Converse bucket list. So let's just say you're born again, God gives you a bucket that's full, and you take that bucket and then you start dispensing what's in it. And probably towards the end of that time when the bucket's empty is probably a perfect time that the Lord might take you home if you're serving Him and expanding the kingdom.
Yeah, that's right. I've been saying that this having this approach, this bucket theory, helps me fight off temptation and also helps me relax and celebrate and worship the Lord better. It occurs to me, we were just talking off the air about 1 Corinthians chapter 3. The Apostle Paul was challenging the church in the city of Corinth and saying, you guys have clustered up into these groups. Some of you want to follow Apollos, some of you want to follow Paul, some of you want to follow Peter. And Paul challenges them on that. He says that kind of competition, that doesn't belong in the church. And he says this, what is Apollos and what is Paul? Servants through whom you have believed as the Lord assigned to each. He says, I planted, Apollos watered, but God's the one who gives the growth. So the idea that we're all carrying different buckets, we're not in a competition to collect more things than somebody else. We just need to be faithful for what the Lord's given us. Mm-hmm. And that will help the church be a better place to spread the gospel.
Mm-hmm. If we look at the standard bucket collection where you are collecting experiences and things, and like you said, Doug, there's nothing horribly wrong with that, right?
Right.
Yeah. But then there's a certain point where you probably have a lot of stuff. And
a lot more than just memories. You might have the what do we call them? Souvenirs of memories. Photographs. And yeah.
But the Swedish death cleaning, I've talked about this before. It's a very practical and unsentimental way of decluttering your life so others aren't left sorting through your belongings. And so some of the questions you ask when you're going through your possessions is, do I actually need this? Would anyone else want this? Am I keeping this out of guilt, habit, or fear? And do I want this in my future, regardless of how much time you think you have left?
Yeah. All right, you're going to be convicting me here now. My wife and I are remodeling a home to make room for my 5,000 books.
Yeah, busted.
that I have collected over the last 40 years of life and ministry. And it's occurring to us that we might not have enough linear board feet for all these books. So I'm going to have to sort through and which ones am I really in need of utilizing in my current ministry and which ones could I get rid of. But I think the better question is, which ones can someone else make better use of?
Yeah.
How can I be a good steward of this by giving it to someone who's going to have the time to read it, who's going to utilize it in their ministry or their research or for writing their books or papers or whatever. And I think I'm going to be needing to be more Swedish. The Swedish death theory, you said that?
Swedish death cleaning.
Death cleaning.
Yeah.
My wife and I, in just these last few years, have lost all of our parents, and so we don't have any children. So as we're working through our parents' belongings, we're wondering, we don't have any kids who will work through our belongings when we pass away. So we might need to be more consciously thinking about dispensing those things sooner ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good.
I have a listener just jumping in with this. They're already stimulated with ideas. I've never thought about this concept, but one thing in my bucket would be able to talk to someone about God every day, even if it's to another believer. It's really a fun way to live.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of fits into both bucket theories. I want to collect that experience, but in collecting that experience, I'm giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. And when I think of your beautiful library, that is kind of, you're an academic guy, so this is kind of like a tennis player's trophy case in a way.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you'll actually go back and read those books again, but they're a reflection of your body of work and study and education, and it's kind of cool to walk into a person's library and go, wow, this is beautiful, right?
It is fun, and I admit when I walk into other people's offices, it's hard for me to not be looking at their books. But what my wife and I have tried to do in our home library situations in the past is invite people over to utilize them. We've even gone so far as to give some friends a little Huffman Library card.
Yeah.
So to
they
invite
check out.
anytime you want to come over, you can
like
utilize the books. And so we want to be good stewards of even the things we've collected and pour them out. Yeah.
Another comment, Doug, throughout our 64 years of marriage, we've experienced that the more we give away or share, the more comes to us.
Oh, wow.
Especially things relating to our own children and foster kids and books. Isn't that lovely?
That's very, very lovely. Well, thank you, listener. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I really like that. So this whole idea of having more of a streamlined life, for me, when I have clutter, I'm worse at making decisions. If I look at my desk and I go, I should clean that desk up, it's a mess, I end up not making decisions about anything.
Oh, yeah.
I clean it up and it's all of a sudden I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm sure that we're all made with these different tendencies. My wife and I operate a little bit more like you, Bill, that we like order. Admittedly, she's more ordered than I am, but we do like a clean desk and work surface, and when we get things in order, then we feel ready to apply ourselves a little more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of just knowing yourself and how you operate. Again, different personalities, the Lord assigns those too. And knowing yourself, we don't have to compare ourselves with other people. It's a matter of knowing ourselves. As the great theologian Clint Eastwood once said, a man's got to know his limitations.
Yeah.
So
That outlaw Josie Wales? I think it was.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah. No, it's productivity always begets more productivity in my world. So if I want to have a productive day, I'll get up on Saturday and do laundry at 6:30 in the morning. And then it's like, whoa, I got laundry done. I'm ready to go. I'll face anything today.
Wow. That's impressive.
So I guess...
or is that a problem? I don't know.
Well, I wake up with what I would call a bucket of energy. And then I don't want sloth to kick in, because sloth does kick in on certain Saturdays where I don't want to do anything. But when I start becoming productive, I find that bucket refills and I've got more energy.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, we fight our comparison with other people. The Lord's blessed them with that. I can celebrate their bucket. They're responsible for it. I'm not. What am I responsible for?
I like that.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel, Wyatt? Nice and calm?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great stuff. I've enjoyed this right from the get-go today. learning a lot, and I think it's something we all can kind of apply into our lives. It's a different way to look at it for sure.
Yeah.
The Apostle Paul says in his 2 Corinthians letter, chapter 9, verse 10, he says, "He who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will supply and multiply your seed for sowing and increase the harvest of your righteousness." Again, an agrarian metaphor, but farmers use buckets. God's the one who gives the seed for the farmer to sow, and the farmer who just collects it and holds it in his bucket, not being a very good farmer.
Yeah, and the seed rots and it doesn't get used.
So this bucket faithfulness theory, it's important to collect things, but it's important for us to be dispensing them with faithfulness.
Mm-hmm. Have you talked about this before?
In several different venues I have.
Okay. Because if it goes big, I get some commission of some kind. I don't know what you're laughing at.
Okay. You need to collect something in your bucket over there.
Well, I need to get a little something in the bucket. It would be nice.
Okay.
All right. We'll take a short break and be back. Dr. Doug Huffman is my guest, and we're talking about the bucket list, but the Converse bucket list. God's given you this beautiful bucket that's all full, and it's our job to take what's in that bucket and spread it around. So if you have a question or comment or want to throw something into the conversation, 877-933-2484. That's the text line. We'll be right back. Welcome is a word said universally all over the world. Every language on the planet has their own way of making a friendly greeting. At Faith Radio, when we welcome, we really mean it. Learn more about us by requesting a free welcome pack gift. Text the word welcome to 877-933-2484 or visit myfaithradio.com to request your welcome pack today. And a warm welcome to you. We're back with Dr. Doug Huffman talking about the bucket list. Doug, what was that song you heard at church yesterday?
Yeah, we were singing a worship song that I'd never heard before, and suddenly the lyrics were really rather frank. They said, in praise to the Lord, it says, "I'm not dead yet, so you must not be done."
Amen.
Wow. If you're still on the planet, God has some use for you. And find out what that is, that thing that only you can do uniquely, that thing that's in your bucket, and see how you can joyfully apply that for the sake of the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it.
I do too. And that should be a source of inspiration to all of us.
Yeah. The idea that we're, the Apostle Paul not using buckets, but he used a body metaphor, that we're all different. We're not all alike. Not everybody's a hand, and not everybody's an ear, not everybody's an eye. The Lord's created us different because we have different purposes to serve. And that helps me fight envy of other people when I compare myself to them. I go to these academic conferences for biblical and theological studies, and I walk through the book exhibit hall, and I go, well, there's a book I didn't write, and there's another book I didn't write, and there's one my friend wrote that I didn't write, and and boy, it just could feed my envy and my pride and my sloth, and no, I'm responsible for what the Lord's given me in my bucket. What do I have in here that I could faithfully utilize? And now I can celebrate my friend's book. That's fantastic. I'm so glad you wrote that. I never could have.
Yeah. And you're talking about emotions, envy, greed, and sloth. I don't know how often people bring that to the conversation. How are you doing? Oh, I'm really struggling with envy. or I'm just unbelievable, my sloth. And it's really hard to admit that I feel greed. You can't readily admit that. But there it's lying there, eating away at you, and you can't confess it. What's up with that?
This is why we need small groups of believers who we are assured of their love no matter what, and we can go to them for counsel on how to take care of matters.
You know, and greed can be the simplest things. You can say, I don't know if I have enough money to pay my bills this month. And I don't even have big bills, right? So you start to feel greedy about the people that can.
Covetousness,
Yes,
right?
covetousness.
Yeah, it's interesting. Those problems of greed and covetousness are not the problems of rich people. They're the problems of people.
I agree.
You don't have to be rich and longing for money in order to. You don't have to have money in order to be greedy and longing for it. And conversely, just because you might have a lot of money doesn't mean that you are selfish and greedy.
Right.
And those are all matters of giftedness that people are responsible for. And I've known wealthy people who've been very generous and not greedy at all.
Yeah, me too.
I'm happy to think about Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, and if the Lord would curse me with a little bit of that,
Yeah. What if you're listening right now and you're saying, I have a bucket, but there's not a lot in it. And how dare they talk about the bucket being full? I should be dispensing because my bucket does not feel full.
Ooh, I'm really glad you said that, Bill. My wife and I have come to think of our bucket as having layers to it. And maybe you're not. Maybe your bucket's not empty. You're just at a new level, a new layer, and you need to punch through the little division there and discover a new layer of things you're responsible for. And that's why I said early on, this has been something of a decision-making paradigm that we utilize. We have this opportunity to move or take this job or change ministries. Are we done here? Has this layer of our bucket been totally emptied? That we should carry it on to the next station in life. So maybe the listener who is feeling like their bucket is empty and they got nothing left, poke around. Maybe there's another layer under there that you just need to discover.
What if my bucket feels empty because my daughter hasn't talked to me in 6 years and there's a grandchild I haven't met yet?
And certainly that would be an experience you would long to collect.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
You want that in the bucket.
Yeah. And maybe that is yet to come later in time. Maybe that's a deeper layer and that you have a layer to be responsible for first. And that experience won't be yours until you work down to that layer in the bucket.
And then what if I predetermined what I wanted in that bucket and it's not in the bucket? So now what do I do?
Yeah, so that's a discovery.
I get it.
That's a discovery for me. Early on in my academic career, I had all these dreams about all these books I could write, and now I'm realizing, those were never really in my bucket. I wanted them in there, but they're not. But I shouldn't be wasting my time envious about somebody else's bucket. I've got plenty of things in my bucket to keep me busy.
So I've written some things on some napkins, and I've been, I've been occasionally jealous of other people's napkins, but that's about it.
Okay, yeah, well, we can get a napkin published, sure.
Yeah, you're always gauging yourself based on what isn't happening in your life.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really deadly trap.
Yeah. Now, again, thinking about the athlete metaphor, I think competition can be a good and healthy thing, but we all know of abuses of good things, and competition can be wrongly abused in our own lives, whether it's official, competitive events, or just this comparison thing we do in our minds. We have to allow a proper sense of competition to draw out the best in us without spoiling all the good things.
Yeah,
that come
so true, true. Hey, this has really been fun. I've really enjoyed this. I can't wait to go back and listen to it tonight.
Oh, Very good.
There's lots to learn. Thank you for what you shared, Doug. This has been very helpful. And I know the listeners have loved it because I've watched the text line light up. So thanks again. We're going to take a little break. Dr. Doug Huffman has been my guest this hour. When we return, Dr. Brent McDougall will join us, and we're going to do more study of God's beautiful word. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening. Programming like this is made available through your support. Information available at myfaithradio.com.